Episode 34. Pandemonium. Kokichi Muta accounted for his own demise and left behind an insurance plan for the Shibuya incident. A small, circular communication device modeled after the face of Ultimate Mechamaru suddenly appears on Yuji's ear. Yuji takes it off of his ear and nearly breaks the device until Mechamaru tells him they're on the same side. Yuji stops trying to break it and agrees to listen, giving Mechamaru the chance to reveal that Satoru Gojo has been sealed. Meanwhile, on the Fukutoshin Line platform, Gojo is caught in Prison Realm's grasp. With the strongest sorcerer rendered helpless, Pseudo Geto says goodbye to Gojo, claiming they'll meet again in the new world. Gojo admits it's over for him for now, but he says it's time for Suguru to wake up and demands he stop letting someone control him. This statement inspires a phenomenon that causes Geto's hand to grasp his own neck, rebelling against the imposter controlling him. Despite being violently choked, the imposter claims this has never happened before and is amused. Mahito awakens from his trance, and Pseudo Geto tells him his theory about the body and soul being separate is incorrect. He uses this phenomenon as evidence, but Mahito argues that they live in different worlds due to their cursed techniques. Pseudo Geto believes that line of thinking is poetic and agrees with Mahito. Annoyed, Gojo tells them to hurry up and finish the seal so he doesn't have to look at and listen to them anymore. Pseudo Geto agrees he can't risk anything happening and completes the seal, closing Prison Realm and completing their main objective. Back in Harajuku, Mei has no reason to believe Mechamaru and demands proof that Gojo has been sealed. Mechamaru explains his circumstances and how his insurance plan was only set to activate in the event that the sealing took place. He left only 3 devices in case of this circumstance, and one of them was left to Mei's team because they were least likely to be moles. Mei plays the devil's advocate and puts together a sound argument about her possibly being a mole. However, Mechamaru reveals there are curse users headed over to eliminate her as they speak. Yuji confirms that there are at least 2 enemies incoming, and they're more powerful than the grasshopper curse. Mei wants to ignore the curse user and confirm this sealing for themselves, but Mechamaru asks that they follow his directions instead. Mei is hesitant to listen, but Yuji pleads with her to do so until she finally agrees. Mechamaru asks Mei to clear a path for Yuji so that he can return to Shibuya and inform everyone of the sealing. The curse user, Niji Ebina, arrives to confront Mei, and the 3 sorcerers get ready for a fight. Meanwhile, in B5F of the Hikarie building, Prison Realm gains a massive amount of weight and forces its way out of Pseudo Geto's hands and onto the ground where it creates a small crater. It needs time to process Gojo and can't be moved until it's done. Inside, Gojo is trapped in a dimension where time doesn't pass, but he doesn't express any concern. He recognizes that he messed up, but he's not worried because he has faith that his allies will take care of everything. More curtains appear across Shibuya, and transfigured humans are now attacking civilians trapped inside them. Team Zenin, Nanami, and Kusakabe are taken off standby and ordered into action to rescue the non-sorcerers. Nanami is annoyed that their response time was so late, but he understands that's just how things work. Megumi and Ino agree with Nanami that the most concerning thing is the appearance of new curtains that bar sorcerers from getting close to where Gojo is. They're unsure of what happened to Gojo and decide to read the situation as they head into the battlefield. In Shibuya Station, outside the curtain, Ijichi tries to coordinate with the assistant managers over the phone to create a line of communication, with the curtains blocking out cell phone reception. He's suddenly attacked from behind by the curse user, Haruta Shigemo, who stabs him multiple times through the back. The curse user, Urami, orders him to target all of the assistant managers around the perimeter of the outermost curtain. Another one of Mechamaru's communication devices is already at Gojo's location. It watches Pseudo Geto and Mahito as the prison realm begins to process. Mahito notices the device and destroys it, but he and Geto know the secret is out, and sorcerers converge on their location. Mechamaru relays this information to Yuji just before he enters the curtain trapping civilians in the city. Immediately upon entering, Yuji fights and kills several transfigured humans in order to protect the bystanders. After dispatching the monsters, Yuji reaches the top of a tall building and yells as loudly as he can for everyone in the city to hear. He calls for Nanami and reveals that Gojo has been sealed. Nanami takes this very seriously and immediately changes course, ordering his team to meet up with Yuji. He is well aware that without Satoru Gojo, it's over for all humans in Japan. Now that the sorcerers will respond in numbers, Geto asks what his allies want to do in response. Choso wants to get revenge for his brothers, but Jogo refuses to let him kill Yuji. Mahito wants to kill Yuji too, and Jogo becomes furious with him. Mahito refuses to fight Jogo and explains his reasoning before proposing a game. If Mahito or Choso find Yuji first, they'll kill him. If Jogo finds Yuji first, he'll give him the fingers they've collected and turn him into Sukuna. Jogo argues the logical strategy is to hunker down and wait for their enemies to come to them, but Mahito ignores him and runs off. This forces Jogo to join the game, and everyone leaves B5F other than Pseudo Geto. Pseudo Geto notices Mimiko and Nanako hiding in the crowd and tells them the playful curses are smarter than they are. The twin sisters demand the imposter return Geto's body, but he refuses, having lied to them about promising to give it back. He tells them to form a binding vow next time they make an agreement with a sorcerer and threatens to kill them if they don't get lost. The girls begrudgingly leave, but they warn the imposter that he'll regret this. Pseudo Geto sits down, overlooking Prison Realm, and claims that he's long forgotten what regret feels like. Team Nanami finds Yuji on the roof, and Megumi gets him to stop yelling. Mechamaru confirms the exact details of the situation to them and proposes that the teams of sorcerers attack the Gojo's location from the adjacent subway stations. This would require them to take down the curtain, barring sorcerers first. Nanami tells the trio to take down the curtain while he meets up with Ijichi to handle some logistical stuff only Grade 1 sorcerers can handle. Before leaving, Nanami tells Ino that he's leaving Yuji and Megumi in his care. Moved that Nanami has put his faith in him, Ino emphatically explains what will happen if Gojo isn't freed. Jujutsu sorcerers will squabble over the fall of the Gojo clan, and then the forces of evil will take advantage. If this happens, even Yuji and Megumi know that the age of humans will end in Japan. Confident that the boys understand the stakes, Ino slaps them on the back and says, "It's time to move out." He swears that they'll take down the curtain before Nanami gets back and confidently adds that they'll rescue Satoru Gojo no matter what.